The book that is selling like hotcakes right now and beating all nonfiction books right out the gate. All of them. None have sold as well or as fast as Spare from Prince Harry. Royal watcher and expert, Jonathan Sacerdoti, on all of that. Jonathan, it doesn't surprise me that the book's a hit. I mean, there's a lot of dirt in there and a lot of curiosity in there. But what do you make of just the fact that it's already broken records right out the gate?
It's had such an enormous amount of coverage, hasn't it? And in a weird way, it's like a sort of reverse fairy tale about a prince who kissed his true love and turned into a frog. I think that that's been the most shocking thing, is that actually all of the stories that have been revealed, and then today during its first day of release, with people catching up on what's actually in the book that they haven't already seen reported on, there's this sense that Prince Harry has in many ways shot himself in the foot reputationally. He's coming across in the book quite strangely, very disloyally to his family, and somewhat embarrassingly for himself and plenty of the other people he writes about in the book too. So it's no surprise that people are rushing out to buy it. You know,
Jonathan, it's over now. It's out, and a lot of dirt in there, and he might never be able to, get back with his dad and the family. But he's earned a lot of money on this, $20 million on this. I think Netflix and all the other ventures could be 80 to 100 million. That's conceivably more than he was worth or got as a royal. What do you make of that?
It's big business, isn't it? Though I don't think that Prince Harry was ever actually hard up by most people's standards, even just from the money that he inherited. And remember, of course, that his life was bankrolled for many years until quite recently by a mixture of his family, his father, inheritance, and even some state money. But I think that, again, the question of whether or not it's worth it for the money is one that people will be turning over in their minds. Right. The late Queen famously commented that recollections may vary, and it seems that Harry's own recollections have varied here. I mean, just in the recent TV interview, he said that him and Meghan never accused the royal family of racism. If you just scroll back and watch that Oprah interview, it certainly sounded that way to most people, to the press, to the public. And so I think, in a sense, people will be reading the book with fascination, putting money in his pocket, but wondering how much of it is accurate or true.
I'm wondering if it even matters. You know what's interesting, Jonathan, you know this better than I, but to see the divide among young people who seem to relate to Harry and Meghan, and older people. And I don't know if that extends to Britain, where there's a great fondness for the royal family, but in America, at least, among the reaction you're getting, it does break down with young people sympathetic to them and whether there was racism involved or Meghan was treated differently or all of that. And in Britain, where it might be a whole different thing. But what can you tell us?
Well, one wonders in terms of the racism whether the Kennedys ought to be taking back that prize they gave the couple for fighting structural racism in the royal family, when it turns out they didn't think there was any there, according to Harry's latest interview. But to answer that question, there is that generational divide. And I think we can also see from the fact that Harry's doing so many media interviews over there in the States, not here in the UK. He just did one here. Right. It was a very straight-laced one for the main ITV news anchor, Tom Bradby. So I think the fact that he's doing comedy shows with Steve Colbert, for example, that he spoke in the past, even on other late-night comedy shows as well, shows that he's really aiming for that younger audience. And I think that's where the couples see their future. They see that they can earn far more in that area, and they need to earn because they've got a very lavish lifestyle now that they need to pay for themselves. And, of course, that security that they complained Britain wasn't going to pay for, all the more necessary now that, in effect, he's put a target on his and his family's back by boasting that he killed these 25 enemy combatants in Afghanistan. Of course, that's also calling into question whether or not he can truly be certain of that, because plenty of Western strikes actually killed civilians as well as combatants. And that means that that could rally opinion against him and his family and against Western troops all around the world. So that could be endangering him and others. And that security that he needs now will also cost a lot of money. So, yes, they will be looking to earn a lot. They will be looking to reach a younger audience, maybe a more American audience, and hoping that their earning power in that department won't wane, even if their popularity here in the United Kingdom and elsewhere in the world will.
All right. Well, they're off to a racy start right now, and racing start.